How future leaders can deliver effective presentations with executive presence, even if they don't have the public speaking gene. $6.25 million. That's the average cost of poor communication for a 500-employee company, according to a new Harris Grammarly study. Nearly 3 in 4 business leaders say their teams struggled with communicating effectively over the last year. Teams lose the equivalent of nearly an entire workday each week due to poor communication issues such as resolving unclear communication or following up on asks. Here's the thing. Unclear communication happens in the day-to-day interactions, team meetings, one-on-one conversations, presentations, where employees misunderstood, misinterpreted, or are misinformed about company policies, processes, job function, or a combination of the three. And the effects are significant. 9 in 10 business leaders say poor communication impacts productivity, morale, and growth, and results in increased costs, missed or extended deadlines, and eroding reputation. If you're a human resources or talent development professional, and you are concerned about employee retention, worried about employee engagement, frustrated with the company's leadership development pipeline, improving your future leaders' communication skills can help. Here's why. Communication is the most important skill related to managerial success, according to an ATD study. The single biggest factor in an organization's long-term success is the quality of managers and team leaders, according to Gallup. And communication is the #1 job skill American employees lack, according to LinkedIn. Ineffective communication affects every level of the employee life cycle and the organization, from onboarding new hires, to explaining company values, processes, and procedures to employees and vendors, to leading meetings and delivering feedback, to briefing executive leadership or the board on goals and key performance indicators. And with the increase in remote and hybrid teams, clear communication is critical to ensuring nothing is lost in translation. In practical terms, it sounds something like, he needs to reinforce responsibilities and expectations so new hires feel comfortable. She needs to command the room and engage employees so they feel inspired to follow our safety protocols. He needs to reassure the board of directors so they feel confident our initiatives and capital expenditures are providing a return on investment. If you've ever said something like this with trepidation, I can help. Hi, my name is Rob Lynch, and I'm the founder of Electric Presence. I help future leaders deliver effective presentations with more executive presence in as little as 4 hours, even if they don't have the public speaking gene. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to have the it factor? They say the right things at the right time. They appear calm and comfortable in front of an audience. They communicate with confidence and leadership presence. Have you ever noticed how we describe our interactions with them using light and energy terms? They light up when they talk about their purpose or passion. They light up the room. You could feel the electricity in the air. We feel energized around them. That's electric presence. Crafting clear, concise, and compelling messages and delivering them in a calm, comfortable, confident way to inspire stakeholders to take action. It's easy to believe they were born that way. They must be natural leaders. They are an insert personality type here. That's not true, though. Steve Jobs is considered the gold standard for business presentations. He didn't have the public speaking gene. According to Steve Wozniak, Apple's co-founder, Jobs wasn't a natural-born leader. He worked to develop his communication skills. What if, with the right coaching, your future leaders could deliver more effective presentations with executive presence too? Most presentations fail for 3 reasons. Number 1, informational or irrelevant. If you've ever heard a future leader say, "I'll just deliver the information," there's a good chance stakeholders aren't going to do what they want them to do. That's because there's no benefit to the audience. There's no specific call to action, and it's not relevant to stakeholders today. If future leaders are just delivering information, stakeholders are going to wonder why they're sitting in this meeting or presentation when the information could have easily been sent in an email. And now they're sitting through a presentation when they could be completing their work. Future leaders have to know what they want their stakeholders to think, feel, and most importantly do after hearing their message. They have to explain why it's relevant to their stakeholders today. If stakeholders don't know why this message is important to them or why they should care, they won't do what the future leader wants them to do. Number 2, messy messaging. If you've ever heard a future leader say, "I'll just wing it," there's a good chance they're going to ramble on and go off on tangents. And this forces stakeholders to try and stay engaged and simultaneously figure out what the takeaway is. And that requires energy and focus to not grab their mobile device to just check what's happening with their Instagram posts. Messy messaging doesn't have a clear through line from start to finish. Is long-winded versus concise. Is boring versus compelling. Is heavy on data and facts versus story. Stakeholders take inspired action when they feel something. The message has to evoke an emotional response, and it has to have a crystal clear takeaway. Ambiguity forces stakeholders to guess. Number 3, disconnected delivery. If you've ever heard a future leader say, "I don't need to practice delivering my presentation," there's a good chance they will deliver it on autopilot. Search for the right words while delivering it, or the worst, read the slides, and they'll likely blow the Q&A. Because they haven't practiced how they're going to deliver it, the nerves can take over. This usually shows up in the body as shifting feet, bottling or burning energy, pacing aimlessly back and forth. It shows up in the voice as filler words, ums, uhs, you knows, like, monotone, rambling, and it shows up in the arms and hands as constricted or flailing gestures. Trust is the currency of business, and communication and action are the bank. In every interaction, there are 2 conversations happening at once, the verbal and the nonverbal. If future leaders communicate in a way where the verbal and nonverbal don't line up, stakeholders are going to look at the body language. If the words communicate, "Trust me," and the body language undermines that message, stakeholders won't do what future leaders want them to do. We want our leaders to appear calm, comfortable, and confident, and inspire us to take action. The way to demonstrate leadership presence is to deliver messages with a strong intent, so voice, body language, and gestures are congruent. Direct reports, vendors, and leadership don't know what to think, feel, or do when presentations are informational or irrelevant, use messy messaging, or feature disconnected delivery. And there's a good chance they're not going to take inspired action as a result. If you're nodding your head, you've experienced this firsthand as the presenter or the audience. Here's how I can help. My practical, applicable, and experiential Communicate Like a CEO presentation skills coaching program teaches future leaders how to craft messages like a publicist, learn how to craft clear, concise, and compelling messages with a timely, audience-focused benefit, and use message stickiness to encourage retention. Tell stories like a screenwriter. Storytelling is the most important communication skill any leader can use to engage, persuade, and inspire stakeholders. Learn to craft engaging stories using the secret formula playwrights and screenwriters have used for centuries, and the key stories to have in your back pocket to inspire stakeholders. Prepare like an athlete. Learn how to build presentations by starting with the end goal, do 3 phases of prep like Steve Jobs, and record and review presentations like game tape to encourage skill growth. Deliver like a performer. Learn how to align voice, body language, and gestures with intent to appear calm, comfortable, and confident, and inspire audiences to take action. Manage questions like a company spokesperson. Learn how to prepare for tough questions in advance, avoid speculating, and stick to key company messages to maintain credibility. And while I focus on presentations, what I teach is applicable to other forms of communication, including one-on-one feedback, meetings, and email communication. I do this by coaching them on what to say, the message, by applying 25 years of public relations experience, preparing CEOs for high-stakes media interviews, crafting messaging platforms, and pitching stories to the media. I provide templates and formulas for effective presentations, practical examples to illustrate, and coach on how to arrange information for clarity and retention. How to say it. The delivery, by applying 20 years of acting and improv experience performing on stage and screen. I coach on how to take up more energetic space and align body language, voice, and gestures with purpose to increase comfort presenting in front of audiences and project leadership presence. I've provided effective communication skills training to new sales members, future leaders, and senior executives for such companies as Accenture, KPMG, Walgreens, Volkswagen, Houston Terminals, and CCC Information Systems, among others. Now, I know if you're going to invest in a training program, you're concerned about application, skill retention, and behavior change. That's why I use practical, real-world simulations, so each workshop is applicable to everyday work scenarios. My workshops are experiential, exercise-driven, and fun because behavior change happens through new experiences. In the body, not the brain. You can't think your way to being a better communicator. You have to do it. And most importantly, learning doesn't have to be boring. To encourage behavior change and skill retention, I do three main things. 1. Record exercises. Recording and playing back exercises helps future leaders increase self-awareness of what their body language is communicating and allows them to objectively review when they are communicating effectively and ineffectively. 2. Individual feedback. I provide individual feedback after each exercise and after each workshop to reinforce individual strengths and highlight additional areas for improvement to encourage growth. 3. Action transformation calendar. The best way to build new habits is to work on them every day and track progress over time. I recently completed a Communicate Like a CEO presentation skills coaching program for my client's Future Leaders Academy. Here's what participants had to say. Communication skills are no longer a soft skill or a nice-to-have skill. They're critical. When leadership communication is inconsistent, employees often feel uninformed and misaligned. Employees may fill in the gap, lose a sense of connection, or become uninspired, according to a recent Quantum Workplace survey. Employees who learn to speak with confidence and clarity and use appropriate nonverbal cues will be more likely to be seen as leaders when working in teams. In turn, they'll have more opportunities to make a positive difference on their team and organization. James Lemoyne, Associate Professor of Organization and Human Resources in the University at Buffalo School of Management. Do you know what the greatest predictor of success for leaders is? According to Kim Cameron's book, Positively Energizing Leadership, it's not their charisma, influence, or power. It's not personality, attractiveness, or innovative genius. The one thing that supersedes all these factors is positive relational energy, the energy exchange between people that helps uplift, enthuse, and renew them. Positive relational energy is communication. It's communicating with clarity and confidence and intent to inspire action. It's electric presence. If your managers, high potentials, and leaders communicate with clarity, confidence, and intent already, congratulations. You're ahead of most companies. If your managers, high potentials, and leaders deliver ineffective presentations that are informational or irrelevant, use messy messaging, or feature disconnected delivery, let's set up a 15-minute call. I can help your future leaders deliver effective presentations with more clarity, confidence, and executive presence, even if they don't have the public speaking gene, in as little as 4 hours. My promise for this call: no pitching, no offers. Instead, I'll ask some questions and offer some prescriptive, actionable advice. If you want to work with me, we can set up a separate call. If this sounds like something you might be interested in, click on the link in my bio and we'll set something up. I look forward to speaking with you. Be brilliant.